Let me say good morning and welcome to our listeners and viewers to GBN Radio and GBN TV. Good morning to also to listeners and viewers via social media platforms, whether it's the Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning. Those of you also via GBN's webpage, gbn.gd. Good morning and welcome. I'm your host, GT. Welcome to another edition of To The Point. Today being Friday, the second day of February. Good morning to one and all once again. Let me say good morning to my panel with me this morning. To my immediate right, we have Ms. Mona Julian, Mr. Hussein Elcock, and Ms. Janice Leslie with us this morning. And they are representing the Planning and Development Authority. And we're all talking about the demolition drive that is already should have already started already, right?
Yes.
All right. But let me say good morning to everyone. Good morning to everyone, and welcome to this edition of To The Point. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right.
Good morning.
All right. Let's get this conversation started this morning. The demolition drive. I'm assuming loads of our listeners and viewers have noticed the commercial running. The conversation has been out there for a week or two now in terms of what will be taking place. Let's get an open statement from. I'm not sure which one's going to take the mantle up this morning. Let's get an open statement for the reasons why for this particular campaign that is on right now.
All right. So good morning again to your listeners. My name is Janice Leslie. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer at the Planning and Development Authority. And basically, let me just give a brief overview. I think the ad says it all, but let me just break it down. Over the years, we have seen just proliferation of illegal structures, and in my view, it has gone literally viral. It's all over the place. Someone just has to start one, and immediately another person come and put a next one on the side of it, and it just keeps going. It's getting really bad, and it is something that has been a concern for many years from the perspective of the Planning and Development Authority. In the past, many attempts have been made, but it has always stopped for one reason or the other. But this time, we decided we are going to go ahead and we are going to partner with other stakeholders, whether it's the solid waste, the Royal Grenada Police Force, because the problems that emanate from this situation is it is a lot. It is diverse. We have health concerns. We have the issue of garbage management. We have the issue of interruption in the flow of traffic. There are so many different adverse conditions that comes out of this that we recognize that we had to take an approach that engaging all of our stakeholders so that we can deal with this situation. And yes, while we have started, a lot of persons have contacted me from the media and other areas and said, have you guys started? What I want to say this morning is that the approach that we're taking is one of education and information. And we have started the education and the information by putting out the press release, by putting out commercials both on radio and television. So it's a start. In terms of the other aspects of it, we are going to be rolling it out in phases. Okay. So that in a nutshell is what the demolition drive is all about. Yeah.
All right. So, we a couple of months ago, when the new administration kicked in, we saw there was also a campaign of a similar nature that kicked in also, where we had that cleanup campaign. I did have Mr. Elcock in here speaking and pertaining to that. Now, where does planning fit into this again, into this particular aspect of it?
Good morning, listeners and viewers. Planning fits in right to the top because most of what is happening on the roadside is because of breach of the planning regulation, right? And based on our act, it says that once you're going to develop, you must get permission from the Planning and Development Authority. And erecting of buildings, that is part of development, right? So you're supposed to get permission before you went ahead to develop these buildings.
Yes.
So that way it starts. So it's just a matter of ensuring, and our act that we function with says that we have a mandate to ensure that development be conducted or carried out in Green in an approved manner, right, in an orderly manner, right? And so right now these buildings more or less come in a disorderly state.
All
more or
right.
less.
What if I have to ask? What is the process that someone has to go through if they are to construct a roadside shop, or as we call it, that we say in local conversation?
Okay, yeah. The process is as other application for development. One of the critical things we have is the setbacks, right? So before someone could go ahead and erect a building, they must get permission, meaning they have to submit a plan to the Planning and Development Authority.
Yeah.
3 sets of drawings, as we recommend. Have all the architectural drawings, engineering drawings, health drawings, and all of these will go to the different stakeholders to be assessed, and then the building inspector or site inspector will come on your site and look to see where the building is going. And after that, it goes to the board, and the board grants or refuse the submission. Now, one of the critical things is for the roadside vending is the distance it is from the middle of the road. And when I say that, I don't want to say that all the other stuff is excluded,
Yeah.
but that is one of the critical areas, right? Because we had to look at parking. We're looking at the setback from the road, and different roads carry different setbacks. For example, Lagoon Road or Kearney James Boulevard may carry a distance of 30 feet from the center of the road. A road like St. Paul's may carry the same 30 feet. Probably Montparnasse, C.C. Labarrie will carry 26 feet. So that different road give the different distance from the building should be from the road. The thing with these on-plan development, which is vending along the road, most of them is just at the edge of the road. Some of them is located on a corner, which poses a high risk for persons using the road and even pedestrians trying to go to these establishments.
All right. Now, folks may say the most of these developments has been there for a period of time. What's the conversation you've been having with individuals who may have had a structure built there for a period of time?
We had a conversation with them. When the officer go on site, we pick up all the information. We pick up the information regarding the source of income. Sometimes that is the only source of income, right? But in terms of the location, especially on Crown lands, a time period doesn't play a part in us removing it.
Okay.
Right? I think how much years government have? 99 years that they can remove? Something like that. I'm not too sure on that one, but the Planning and Development Authority, we do look into the time, but it's not an avenue for persons to remain. Probably if, I don't want to say that, but also, if government going to make a move to make accommodation for persons,
yes,
maybe those who are there the longest may get first preference in the establishment that government will
create.
All right.
But I don't want that to be that people say, well, Mr. Elcock, say if you're there long, you'll get first preference. That's not the point, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes. Just to add to what Mr. Elcock said, I know that this ad has created a lot of concern and rumbles in the community. But it is important that the public knows that we're not just coming with a machete to chop everything and everybody down. Right? This is happening in a phased approach.
Yes.
We are going to be looking at the more problematic instances first.
Okay.
The buildings that are more poorly put together, the ones that are closest to the edge of the road, the ones that are more recently erected.
Yes.
Because the bottom line is that we do not have the resources to swarm the country and start breaking things down.
No.
So what I'd like people to understand is that it's going to be a phased approach. We are starting initially in the parish of St. David, the lower part of St. David and St. George's. There are some areas that are very, very, very problematic. We have. And that is what we are going to be dealing with first. It's a phased approach. We are going to be unrolling it, and so persons would be given individual notification. Like I say, we're doing this, but when we get to the point where we actually begin to demolish, the persons who are going to be demolished will know that their structure would be demolished. In fact, we are working collaboratively with the Ministry of Agriculture, lands specifically. They have their act allows them 48 hours to act. Right?
That's after notification?
After notification, 48 hours. So the persons who would be demolished in the initial phase, we will be notifying them, giving them an opportunity to remove their personal belongings and secure their personal belongings, so they would not be left in any doubt as to whether the hammer would be coming on their structure.
What if they kids to, demolish it themselves?
Yes, and that's what we're hoping. That's why we're working with our partners. It's unfortunate that our partner from the RGPF could not have been here, could not have made it this morning.
Yes.
But we are working collaboratively, and we want to send a message that we are very, very serious. In fact, in the recent months, we have met some structures, and people are coming in the middle of the night and put up these structures. You pass in the morning, and they're there. Right? And we go out because we get the calls, and we post them to come in and talk to us, and they ignore us. And in 2 days, they already have merchandise in there. So they've been very, very, very defiant. And the reason why we're doing this education this morning, we want to send a powerful message to the violators, but we also want to say to the general public, this is our country. We have to preserve our country. We do not want a country that breaks down into some kind of shanty town. We're a tourist island. We're a spice island of the Caribbean. Look at what's happening even on the Carnage now, selling fish, selling everything and leaving the crates and the old chairs, and I'm sure Ms. Julian will speak to a wider conversation about different things that are happening in the community that are having adverse effect on our health, our water source, and all of that. So as a caring nation, and a nation that speaks to transformation and making us better aesthetically and otherwise, I know that we will have the buy-in from the majority of the public.
All right. We due for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we get to speak to Ms. Mona Julian about, of course, the Solid Waste Management Authority part of this, and of course, their concerns also when we come back. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point here, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We'll be right back after the break. Stay with us, folks.
Planning and Development Authority of Grenada, PDA, is enforcing regulations to curb illegal, disorderly, and unauthorized development in several locations throughout the state of Grenada. The authority is concerned that structures mainly associated with vending are negatively impacting the environment, has undesirable public health and sanitation consequences, present obstructions to vehicle and pedestrian traffic, can become projectiles during adverse weather conditions, and generally affect the aesthetics of the nation. The PDA will work along with stakeholder ministries and institutions to effect the demolition, removal, and disposal of structures which fall in the category of illegal and disorderly development, commencing January 2024. In this regard, persons who vend in or occupy such illegal structures are advised to secure their personal belongings and have the structures removed ahead of the planned PDA demolition operations. These actions of the PDA have become necessary to safeguard and protect public health and the environment, ensure the safety and well-being of all citizens and visitors, discourage any future disorderly construction, and encourage compliance to regulations pertaining to physical development in the state of Grenada. This is a message from the Planning and Development Authority of Grenada.
Like family, it's always exciting when lottery players get together. Now the lottery games are joining in the fun. Check out the multiplier family of Instacash games. 5 times the cash at $2, 10 times the cash at $3, and 20 times the cash at $5. On your tickets, match any of our numbers with any of the winning numbers and win the prize below that number. There's more. Multiply your winnings up to 5 times, 10 times, or 20 times more. Winning is easy. Play Monday to Sunday. There are no draws to wait on. Win instantly. It's the multiplier family of Instacash games with over $675,000 to be won instantly. Don't just buy one, buy all, because family is everything. Must be 18 years and older to play. NLA, making family dreams come true.
Grenada, our beautiful pure island, is turning 50. And what better way to celebrate than with an evening that captures our heart, our spirit, our journey. Welcome to Up From Here, an experience of our past, present, and future. Join us at the National Cricket Stadium on Friday, February 2nd, as we revel in a spectacular showcase of Grenadian talent from our very own shores and from across the seas. Our artists are coming home to celebrate with us. Experience the rhythms that rocked our past and melodies that map our future. Live bands, sensational artists, dynamic dancers, all on one stage. And the best part, it's absolutely free. Gates open at 7 p.m. Showtime 8 p.m. Come early. Bring your family. Bring your friends. Let's fill the stadium with our pride, our joy, our unity. 50 years of music, talent, and creativity. This is our moment, Grenada. Let's celebrate. It's only Up From Here together. Stay connected to our social media pages for updates at Grenada Turns 50.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point for today, Friday, the second day of February. And with me this morning, I have folks from the Planning and Development Authority, and we're speaking about the demolition drive this morning, folks. And I did promise to speak to Ms. Mona Julian in this segment. Ms. Julian, good morning and welcome. You've been sitting and absorbing most of the conversation a wee bit. Now, the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority. I understand your reasonings for being part of this initiative also, because some of these structures are built. It's an eyesore, the garbage and so that develops depending on where these structures are built. Tell us the role of the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority in this particular drive.
Okay, good morning to all listeners and viewers. If I'm to start off with what was presented earlier, I would make reference to the introductory statement by Mrs. Leslie as it relates to the solid waste management component of things. Now, if you look, and I think that the ad has been out long enough, if you look at the ad that was presented in terms of the content and the visuals, it is glaring that Solid Waste Authority has to play a critical role in this whole approach to addressing these illegal operations, illegal development that has been happening throughout our country. Quite a lot of what we see on the ground and what was presented in the advertisement has a lot to do with improper waste management. You would see, for example, how these structures are located, the quality of the material used to construct these buildings. Is it possible to do the cleaning that is necessary under the Waste Management Act? If you are doing any vending at all, you ought to clean before the end of the day, a certain parameter around those facilities. the facilities constructed, are they allowing for this? We are concerned about the public health implications associated with this illegal development, improper management of waste. Do you have the facilities for providing food service? Generally, this is what they are doing. You know, your water, potable water, toilet facilities, the things that are necessary to ensure that you are providing safe, wholesome food to the public that you are serving. So that our interaction with the PDA on the ground has revealed even more, you know, that we were able to see just by our regular supervision service. The issues have been there for quite some time. We have been speaking about it, and the approach now of this intersector action to address the whole issue of the creativity of these persons, if I must say it that way, to construct these buildings is, I think, the best approach to addressing the challenge. There are quite a lot of advantages to that approach where we have all of the stakeholders involved. So it doesn't become just a solid waste challenge, but we are encouraged by the interaction, right? So that, you know, the long waiting period that we would have had, you know, sending information to one agency, then sending it to another, you know, it draws out the whole intervention that, you know, would have happened in the past, and in the end you get no results because the facility would have been concretized, you know, and now it's difficult to even get them out. So here we are talking about how do we go about addressing these challenges when they should have, you know, if you had that approach in the past, we would have been better able to nip them as they happened. So now with that approach to address the challenge as we see it, and in going forward, curb any such illegal operations, I think is an approach that is commendable, and the interaction that we are having with those who are responsible for enforcement. The authority, we have no enforcement capabilities. So working along with the PDA, right, working along with the Ministry of Health and, of course, lands, etc., and police would certainly help us in effectively addressing the problem. I must say that some of these illegal developers, when we approach them, they will try to solve the problem, but in solving the problem, they shift the problem from one area to the next, right? They have been very creative, and in their creativity, it can even worsen the situation. And so we have to be mindful, we have to be watchful, and we rely heavily on public response, so that if there is an issue in a particular area, do not allow it to become out of hand before it is reported. Once the public has seen these problems coming up, you can report them to the various agencies concerned, where they present, for example, things like rodent infestation, mosquito breeding, the public health issues we are concerned about, right? You do not allow it to reach to that point before it is reported, right? Things can get out of hand very quickly. So the sooner it is reported, it is better for us. And of course, it can be reported to any of these agencies at this time, seeing that we have that intersectoral approach towards addressing the whole issue of illegal development.
All right. My next question goes to Ms. Lassie and, of course, Mr. Hilcock, if they could, of course, both of them could chime in on in answering this particular question. You speak about a phased approach. How are you approaching it?
In phases?
Yes. What is the phase that you're going to be taking in terms of the approach? Just for the benefit for someone who may have built a structure right now and probably for the first time they're hearing about this. Okay, you know, there are folks who will say they never heard about this. I haven't looked at the TV, I haven't heard it on radio. There are folks who are going to say this. Make it for some reason someone is actually listening to this program this morning and saying, hey, look at what they're talking about. How is this approach going to be going? How are we going forward?
Well, as I said, it is a phased approach that we are taking, and we will be looking at the structures that poses the most public issues at the moment. Like I say, we have identified some of them internally, but we're not quite ready to speak to that in the public forum as yet, because persons would be notified.
Okay.
And so if you have not been notified as yet, I hope. And something I wanted to add also, I know that wasn't the question, but to what Ms. Julian spoke to, not only would we be, although vending is the core thing that we're looking at right now, we're also looking at things like illegal garages, because these are popping up all over the place as well. You know that those illegal garages, they have a lot of waste when it comes to oil, and they end up stockpiling a lot of derelict vehicles and parts and those kinds of things, and that's a big problem. We're also going to be looking collaboratively at even animal pens, those structures that house animals, pigs, and that kind of thing, and its health impact on the community and those types of things in terms of its placement in to people's homes, and the smell and all that kind of thing. So the Planning and Development Authority and its partners, we are ready to approach this thing collaboratively to make sure that we have a better community today and for the future. And let me highlight who some of these partners are. Glen, believe it or not, because Glen, they have been given electricity to some of those structures. So they are a partner. They are on board with us. We have Nawasa, again, water. But then again, many of the structures, they do not have running water. They do not have many things, toilet facilities. And people, it's amazing how people feel comfortable buying food from establishments without those necessary facilities. In fact, we have barbecues on the side of the road where, have you ever seen somebody scrubbing those barbecue grills? Sometimes they come and they just pass a brush on it and they light up and chicken again. And it's just amazing. I mean, sometimes people say people have pig stomach, but we're taking a lot of chances with our lives. And if we have to change that kind of thing, we have to do something about it. Elcock, I don't know what you want to add.
Yeah. Now, we say a lot, right? And I don't want it to go that planning or the government or whoever doesn't like development.
Yes.
Right? We are encouraging development, but it must be in a certain manner. Right? And for some reason, some sector of persons, there's always be cut in the net, because those who vend, they might just say, just want to earn a living, we want to make a little money and stuff, and then we come in to prevent that. Right? And what this could give rise to is an opportunity to have a better plan arrangement for vending.
Yes.
Because I don't know if I ever heard it, but persons in different locations could form themselves into clusters. And these clusters could create an area where you could go and have your barbecue in a particular area.
And I guess permission will be granted for
so if
that.
You see, when the pressure is come from our section, the people who is affected have to go to the relevant authorities because they need to provide this service.
Yes.
And then now, the relevant authorities could come and say, well, let's see how we could provide. And then the planners come and they see how they could plan an area where the barbecue, the fried chicken, and whatever could go in a particular area. And not only in St. George's, because right now, up Subies that I see they're trying to form up a fish Saturday or something like that, which is good, right? Mm-hmm. But then, I don't want the people from Subies think I'm attacking them, which is good, but it have to be in a particular way, because the formulation of that now could give rise to the next problem. But if they do it in an orderly way, they get all the information, and because, as Ms. Julian said, waste is going to be generated. How do you handle all these things? Mr. Leslie Health will talk about the grills. How do you sanitize in all these things? Right?
And the security aspect also fits into it also.
Yes.
Drainage.
Yes. Because
There is a certification program for vending, right? And this is done by the Environmental Health Department of the Ministry of Health. And they must get certification for training for food vending. And there is a 9-module program that includes everything. And at the end of the day, you must be certified, supported by a health check. You must, have that health certificate. When I say a physical health done, bloods and so on done, to ensure that you are well enough to vend, for food. And the authority, we're also part of that certification program. How do you plan to dispose of the waste and cater for the people who come to patronize your business, right? So that you want to make some money, but you need to do it in conformity to best practices for physical development, for health, and of course for the public that you are going to serve. Right. So it's not just, somebody coming down with a heavy hammer, but let us do things right. Let us do things. There are reasons why these policies are established for food service, for construction of buildings, for vending, for the operation of garages, for the storage of oil, the disposal of even refrigerants, right? So there are quite a number of issues. We're just touching just a few here this morning. There are a number of things that also have to be addressed in terms of, as I mentioned, even the transportation of food, where you cook in your homes, right, to present food, inspection of the homes. You have rodent infestation, rat infestation, we have leptospirosis, we have, those sort of things. So let us try to understand the big picture. Let us try to understand what it is we're trying to achieve for the state of Grenada, for us, first and foremost as Grenadians, to ensure that we provide our services in a manner that is conducive towards ensuring that whether it's for food, whether it's for garages, it is done in a manner that does not adversely, first and foremost, our health and the environment and the people that we serve.
Let me just say this, and I want the public to know that we are all Grenadians, right?
So true.
And whatever is done after work, we might want to go and patronize, or even during work.
Yes.
So it's not just persons selling for them own self. They're selling for all of us. Because I might be in a particular way and I might want something to eat. I will want to know that I'm going in a good establishment that is safe for consumption.
There's a particular saying that Grenadians are an entrepreneurship kind of individuals. You understand? I'm the posing this question in general. So you've been hearing the negative talk, like the authorities now is doing this to take away the bread and butter from individuals. You understand? I've been hearing that conversation going around. What does the authority have to say on that?
The bottom line is that is not the case. What we're trying to do is to create a safer environment for everyone. And Mr. Elcock hinted at that earlier in his earlier comment. He said that, listen, we knew that going into this, because this is not a new issue. This issue has been looked at under all of the administrations in the past. But for some reason, when it come, the politics always got involved. And this time we just decided, hey, when we're going to do the demolition, we don't care. We're not going to ask you who you voted for. We don't care. There is not going to be any singling out of anybody. It's going to be fair. It is never fair when people are disenfranchised, but it's going to be done across the board. And for the people who are saying that, hey, listen, your politicians, the people that you voted with, your government, they have a responsibility to you. They are, let me put it this way, they are our servants, right? And I don't mean it in the sense of scrubbing our steps. I mean in terms of serving the community. They are there to provide services to the community. So if I lost my bread and butter, you go to your politician, you go to them, force them, put the pressure on them so that they will come up with solutions. Because the bottom line is I cannot say that there is going to be a space for every single person that are into vending. But of course, allowances would be made in certain areas for some people. There have been talks about it in the past of places that they were going to use and build and create alternatives for people. So when you apply this pressure, don't come for planning or don't come for the people who are trying to do the right thing or who are doing the right thing. Go to your government and say, listen, we are vending, we're having garages, we're doing this and that for our bread and butter and to put food on our table. This is taken away from us and we need your help.
Yeah.
They are there for that. So now go to them, put the pressure on them and let them do something about it. The bottom line, I know that Grenadians, we are very creative people. And you will be surprised that if you took your little food stall and took it to your land that you think people won't come to because it's not close to the road. But once you create an experience and you begin to promote things, word of mouth, you will be shocked at how far people go to get what they need. Grenada is a very small place. You know, we like the holes. We like to go where we have privacy, and you just create that experience. Everybody doesn't have to be hanging out on the side of the road. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
So, like I say, we expect that there is going to be a lot of pushback. There is going to be a lot of, in fact, I started to get some of the calls in the office already, people talking about their bread and butter. And it's real. It is real. But we have to do better. We have to develop better. We have to be more accommodating, and we have to see the big picture of what we are doing, what we can potentially do to this little rock.
All right.
You understand? I hope that answered your question.
So true. Let's take some calls from our listening and viewing public this morning. I know there will be individuals who are listening or they want to ask a question or two. Let's entertain. Let's take our first caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Well, indeed, Mr. Telesford. Greetings and greetings to your guests. Very important information coming out there this morning. First, let me ask them, we laud and applaud all efforts to correct the situation as is. It's long overdue. Let's get that established first. But it begs a question. I do not know. Please forgive me, because for a minute I had to move away from the radio. If you answered it before, which I didn't hear, please just let me know. I'll keep quiet. But why is it today? What of the past? I did hear, what's her name? The first person who spoke. She said the following. Efforts like this have been made in the past, but, open quote, for one reason or other, end of quote, they were stopped. I'd like you to give us at least one reason. We, being the people of this here country, whose business it is to know, one reason or other why the efforts to correct this abnormality had been stopped in the past. But please, as I repeat, I do appreciate, because I can't see physically, but when I hear, I can tell what is happening because I paint the pictures. I like to see ASAP that this thing is corrected so that we can boast of a beautiful Grenada. What they call it again? Pure Grenada, not poor Grenada. Thank you very much. One reason or other why you weren't able in the past, because you inadvertently admitted dereliction of duty over the past. Please understand my question and let's hear you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, William.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Anybody want to respond to the caller?
Go ahead.
One reason or another. In carrying out our duties, we will be faced with many different challenges, right? I would not say that we have not got anything done in the past. We got work done, right? It's just that now we have a stronger force towards what we are going to do, right? We have some challenges regarding manpower. That was one of our problems in the past, right? The staff was just few. Then sometimes the challenge could be part of the legal system. But I don't want to say too much to sound like if I cast in any blame. But we had a few things done in the past. We took persons to court. Person was charged. Billing was broken down. even within the town of St. George. So I guess the challenges in terms of what we got done, we use it in speaking, but we had some stuff done, right? It's just now we moving in a stronger force, right?
All right. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning. In the advertisements, there is a foreign pitch to the advertisement. I was wondering if there are foreign partners assisting with this project. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
Okay. We have two commercials. We have a radio commercial with a local actor, and we have a TV commercial that we wanted to create a more softer appeal, and the voice is actually AI.
Okay.
All right? Artificial intelligence.
All right. Understandably so. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Morning again to you and the panelists and whatnot. And I do appreciate. Okay, the answer that was given to Mr. Rolo's question. Well, yes, I appreciate part of it, but I wish to state that what you should say really, it's never too late for a shower of rain. So I thank the Almighty, and that the changes we probably will see them. Implementation. That's the word I'm looking for. Implementation. And that has been the problem for the longest while. I recall being a bus driver sometime in the 90s. I used to drive my bus all over the island. And there was this time when we got the news, because what happened, every Monday morning, you would find a man with a bus on the road, and he was running, with a helter-skelter. And he had to zone the buses. And that, we got good results from that. So I laud and applaud this move here, and thanks for that. And you have a good day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. I wonder if you understand the direction that the caller was going at in terms of.
Absolutely. I think he said he just added to what Mr. Elcock said, implementation, to strengthen what Mr. Elcock said. And I have to say this because I won't be totally honest if I don't say this, and I want to be honest and transparent as possible to the public, because the public are sensible people. There has been a lot of political interference as well over the years. The authority will, or planning and other departments would want to do what is right according to their acts, and politicians will interfere, because what happens is that people, when they don't have their way or can't have their way, they go to their guys, and then their guys make a call or influence something, and then before you know it, we can't do, the planning can't do what they're supposed to do. And so we can't be naive about that. But I think that that this administration, they are very, very supportive of this. And I hope that planning, we're working in accordance to Planning Act number 23 of 2016, and this is what we are guided by. And I hope, and I know, I feel confident that we would be able to do our work without any kind of interference for the benefit of the public.
All right. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yeah, good morning to you and good morning to your guests. The last speaker couldn't say it better, because yesterday you had one of your guests said, among other things, we have to deal with the Americanization of Grenada post-invasion. And I have always attributed the current state or the rising ghettoization of dismantling our countries with the advent of the invasion, beginning with the market, how we ghettoize the market. So what the lady said a while ago, just a few seconds ago, is correct. Because the politicians, starting with, I say, and I won't call the names now, with the market square, have allowed Grenada to deteriorate to the point that you wonder it was a massive ghetto we were building, including the fish on the canals was mentioned. We had a fish market on the canals that was taken and given to somebody else. to do all that business. So people had to do their stuff on the corner. So everything that was lawful and orderly and legal was discouraged by particularly the group called NNP from 1990 to 1984. The two versions, both the under Blaze and under Dr. Mitchell. So we had to be, of course, the other group is not without fault also, but particularly that gang. Please, so we need to be honest, and I'm glad the lady being a bit honest. As someone who has been at this for years trying to help to maintain some kind of order as far as the environment and the sanity of this country, I'm glad that we're finally coming to terms with admitting the involvement and the cause of the big problem, the lack of respect for rule and law and order in Grenada. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Anybody wants to maybe repeat anything from the caller or contribute anything to his statement that he made?
I think he said what he said. Yeah, I can't add to that.
All right. All right. 4352041. We still can accommodate another caller or two before another caller comes in. So as you mentioned, Ms. Lassie, the operation that's going to be done now is going to be without any political influences at all.
None whatsoever.
We're hopeful for that. Plan is going to do what they have to do. The solid waste management going to do. The police department is going to do what they have to do. And the process is just to get the place cleaned up.
Yes. In fact, we have set up a stakeholder task force.
Yes.
And we have had a meeting already, and the goal is to have regular meetings to share, like I say, our best practices and to share, to work with each other collaboratively so that we're not duplicating efforts. Because when we got together initially, what we found is that the frustration was right across the board because we were duplicating efforts. And we realized that if we came together and shared resources, best practices, and just sharing, it cuts costs, it cuts everybody doing the same thing, running around in circles and getting nothing done.
Eases the burden of one particular
Exactly. As a matter of fact, right now, the RGPF, they are ready and waiting. They have put their force together, their group together, ready to accompany the individuals that are going to be involved, because we do understand that some people may have a tendency to get aggressive. So the police is ready, on standby. We have been able to get the support of Her Majesty's Prison to utilize some of the inmates to assist as a means of cutting cost. We have our partner Solid Waste here with us. They have taken on some really wild boars, to say the least. There was a situation right there in Calais, next to that church. It was an eyesore and a public concern. I think the media, including GBN, would have gone there on a number of occasions, and they were able to get that done. So we feel very very positive about what we're doing, and it's all about. We're doing it for the public. We're not against the public. We're doing this for our Grenada. Grenada is our country, and we are trying to protect our country because, the way things are going, like I say, these things are just one person does it, and it just, I didn't believe I would live to see the day when Port Highway, for example, got up to the gate of the playing field.
Yes.
Right? This is the playing field for children. Right? You cannot sell alcohol on the compound, but all kinds of things are sold right outside. You understand what I'm saying? We have a security concern for the port. There are certain certifications that the port needs to have, and they cannot get it because of the some of the booths, including right outside of their gate. You understand? Let's think about it. Security, our port, our airport, and our seaport. Right? You have these booths all over the place. You don't know. You know what they could be used for. So I'm saying it is a very, very, very serious concern. And I hope the vendors that are listening and the people who are doing some kind of vending, yes, it is deep and personal for you, but at the same time, just try to look at the big picture. And I know that government is committed to creating vending zones, and there's already talk and discussion. So continue. Go to your representative. Interact with them. You understand?
All right.
Put that pressure on them to help you. You know what I mean? That's their responsibility as well.
There's also going to be the concern of the legal ramifications from this. How do you folks plan to deal with that?
Well, we ensure from a planning perspective that we act according to the law. Like I say, our act allows us 28 days to act, right? Which is a long time. So by partnering, the Crown Act, for example, allows just 48 hours. So in other words, the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, they will play a pivotal role in the notification and the time allocation, because we have to move with some speed. We are working also at ensuring that when things are demolished, it is placed in an area where people can go and collect it. However, we are hoping that people will just do the right thing. Especially just do the right thing. We will be given notice, whether it's a week or whatever. You'd be given notice, and we're hoping that people will just break what they need to break and move it, secure their stuff, and start looking at other options. That is our hope. We don't want to create this brawl and drama. Let's work together. Let's do the right thing, because at the end of the day, there is we take it to a secure area. You still will have to get your truck to go pick it up, and so let's avoid that. Once you are given a notification and you know that within a week or so you will be demolished, we're just appealing to you to just take your stuff, secure it. In fact, right now that we're doing this, start looking at options now, because we are serious this time. It's going to happen. Start looking at options.
We have a caller. Could be our final caller for the morning, because we're a bit strapped for time. Let's take this caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a long time now I'm trying to get on a program, but I don't know why, for whatever reason, I wasn't getting on. But I get on now, and thank you for the opportunity. To the panel, I want to find out if when you make application to put up to vend, let's say like on the boulevard, Kearney Boulevard, does you have to put out what you are selling? And if you say what you are selling, and you say clothes, and then later on you see rum selling around it, you ain't have to ask no question. This person is supposed to stop it immediately. Or matter of fact, they should be charged for that, because they're not supposed to be. So when you really look at everything, the final analysis is that what you realize is that the people in charge are not doing what they're supposed to do. It looks like everybody is just like my friend, my auntie, and just sitting back. And we have to change that attitude. What you have to do it. The next thing about a road, let's say people vending. I feel one of the biggest problems that we have in vending is that the vendors themselves, everybody is a copycat. Because John is selling here, and they see what your customers there and people coming, they come in there too. And the next one coming, and the next one coming there. But the thing about vending is, and people getting steal. You must vend the right place. Your surrounding must be clean. And once you by yourself in a good spot where 2 or 3 vehicles could pass, or even one vehicle stop and get your thing and you go, there's no problem. But everybody wants, if you know you're selling fish and you're doing good, everybody come in and sell fish. They ain't coming and say, well, look, we sell tomato, or they're doing the same thing. That can't happen, and always have problems. So the people in charge have to make sure and supervise the people that vending. Let me go back to the market. We always talking about that. What rum doing selling in the market?
Caller, I'm going to ask you to take another 10 seconds and wrap, please.
I'm stopping right here.
All right, thank you so much. Folks, we get inside, but we have to take a wrap for this morning. We're already after time. Any closing comments before we take a wrap this morning?
Okay, I would start there's an area that we did not touch on, and that has to do with the owners of properties. We would like that people who have properties that are not managed, that they pay close attention to what's happening on them. We find that quite a lot of the issues that we are addressing right now are on properties where the owners are not paying attention to. For example, we've discovered huge piles of metal waste on a private property, as well as I thought Labra in Trinidad was the only place we had an oil leak, but we have an oil leak in the south with huge quantities of barrels with oil, etc. And, quite a lot of these properties where we find these illegal operations in terms of improper storage of waste, the illegal garages, etc., they are on properties that have been neglected. So we like these property owners to pay particular attention to what's happening to the properties, how, visit from time to time if you're not in Grenada, have somebody visited for you and, take care of them, because in the long run, it's going to be costly to have those areas cleaned up. We're seeing it. It's going to be a challenge to get these people off. They would tell you, they invest and they have the investment in them and, and that sort of thing. So please be careful with those and ensure that, you play your fair share in terms of protecting the state of Grenada by your proper management of your facilities, your properties. Thank you.
So, Selassie, and you.
Okay. Well, what I will say, in terms of Planning and Development Authority, we encourage development, and we just need to know that we do it in an orderly manner. So we're not against vending, but it must be done in an area specifically for vending. Right? So feel free to visit the office if you need any information. We are there to help. That's our duty.
All right.
Yes, well, just to support what Mr. Elcock says, yes, if you have any questions, anytime you are doing any type of development, whether you're building a wall, whether you're doing drainage, whether you're anything that you're doing, you're building animal pens, please come to the authority or call us for guidance. That's what we're here for. We're here to help, we're here to support, we're here to guide development. So, yeah, that's all I have to say.
I want to thank you folks once again, and I want to wish you all best wishes for the effective runoff of the Demolition drive that is going to be on, and I just hope you get the cooperation of the public and everything rolls out smoothly.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Hey folks, that's how we take a wrap for this edition of To The Point for today. Thanks all for viewers and listeners for being with us today. Join us again for another edition. Have yourself a good one, folks, and all the best. This is where we say goodbye for this edition of To The Point. Goodbye, folks.